We begin with a live look at Chicago's United Center, where the DNC is set to get underway today. Vice President Kamala Harris will officially accept her party's nomination to run for president. As a CBS News YouGov poll shows, she has opened up a 3-point lead nationally over her Republican rival, former President Donald Trump. Over the weekend, the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, spoke about the enthusiasm for Harris.
This is a candidate who's energized the party in a way that I haven't seen certainly since '08. And when I think about, I've been to every convention since I was able to vote, and I can say I've not felt this kind of energy and electricity at any convention other than the one for Barack Obama.
CBS Mornings co-host Tony Dokoupil is leading our team coverage of the DNC in Chicago. Good to see you. Tony, you know, just a few weeks ago, really, this entire convention was about President Biden. And I presume that part of what was going to be going on there was an effort to convince concerned Democrats that President Biden was still the man for the job. Now, things have radically changed. What do you expect the purpose of this convention will be?
Well, boy, you know, Anne-Marie, things have definitely radically changed. I remember it was only 29 days ago on a Sunday when President Joe Biden said, I will not be running for re-election. And then not long after that, he endorsed Kamala Harris as his replacement. And the Democratic Party has really gotten excited about that. Enthusiasm levels have jumped like 40 points in some polls. And willingness to vote, plans to vote, those kind of numbers have also gone up, and people seem to really be feeling it. But it means big change. Some people on the day that Kamala Harris was endorsed by Joe Biden had yard signs that said Biden-Harris, and they just ripped the Biden name off the top, and you'd have the yard sign there that just said Harris. It's been a little bit less crude here preparing the signage and all the like, but the speeches have definitely had to be rewritten, and the whole intention of the convention has to have been rethought, because Kamala Harris is a very famous individual, being vice president for 4 years, prominent role in the Senate before that, Attorney General of California before that. But despite that prominent role, she wasn't that public as a representative of the administration. And so she's well known, or rather famous, without being well known. And so the opportunity and the challenge here tonight is for her to introduce herself to the American people, say, this is who I am, if you've forgotten or you haven't heard yet, and this is what I believe. You know, as of Friday, there wasn't even a policy section on their website, the Harris Walls website. So will she fill in some of those gaps? She's got a bio gap to fill in, and also a what do I want to do with this country gap. We'll see all of that, I'm sure.
Right. And, you know, political scholars and historical scholars, they've been making a lot of comparisons between this convention and the Democratic National Convention in Chicago in 1969. I mean, it's sort of interesting how there are similarities but also differences.
Yeah, this is a bit of a parlor game, and obviously there are parallels, and I can tick them off here. You've got the a foreign war that Americans, particularly younger Americans, are not real happy with America's role in. You've got political violence, that assassination attempt on former President Trump. You've got a sitting president declining to run fairly late in the race. You've got a new candidate who didn't run in a single primary, and all that is true, and all that is an echo of that earlier convention here in Chicago. And yet, older viewers are yelling at the TV right now, or the whatever screen they're watching us on, and they're saying 1968 was a heck of a lot rougher than what we're living through. You had two political assassinations then, Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy. You had almost 50 Americans a day on average dying overseas in Vietnam and Laos, Cambodia. And then you also had the prospect of a military draft stalking the future of all young Americans. That's just a really different level, magnitude, register of tumult and skin in the game than people have today. Not that people are not serious-minded today, not that they don't have real issues, not that they're not committed, but I would never wish 1968 on this country ever again. Fortunately, we are not there. As much as things are the same, we have moved on.
I think that's a really good way to sort of put things in perspective. And I said 69, and you corrected me. It's 68. Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you.
You bet.
All right, the city of Chicago has been preparing for tens of thousands of protesters to participate in demonstrations near the DNC this week. Chicago's mayor weighed in on the plans yesterday.
As far as, who will provide some dissent to ensure that the voices of individuals who want the government to be better, look, that's going to happen. And in fact, we support the First Amendment, and we have to make sure that we protect the rights of individuals to be able to bring their grievances to the leadership, and for our party to respond.
CBS News correspondent Roxana Saberi is at the DNC and following the security preps.
Good morning. The protests are set to kick off here at the Chicago Park in just a few hours. We've seen some protesters already come in, lay down some posters there behind me. There will be speeches and a march that set off from this park toward the United Center, which is where the delegates will be meeting every evening, and then they'll circle back here. Now, these protests are organized by the Coalition to March on the DNC, which is made up of over 200 groups. Their main message is to end the war in Gaza and to end U.S. support for Israel, although they have many other causes as well. Now, for months, these protesters have been battling city authorities over getting a permit to protest, where to protest, and how. They've been given a 1-mile route to march. Protest organizers have said this isn't going to be long enough to accommodate the roughly 25,000 protesters that they're expecting. They asked for 2 miles, they didn't get it, but what they were granted, they say, just last night by city authorities was permission to bring in their own sound system and their own stage so that they can amplify their message. Now, there have been concerns over whether there could be clashes between protesters and law enforcement, as we saw back in 1968 at the Democratic National Convention. But the protesters here say they plan to keep their rallies peaceful. And Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling has said his forces will respect people's First Amendment rights, but they will not tolerate violence or vandalism. Anne-Marie.
All right, Roxana, thank you. And listen, don't forget, our coverage of the Democratic National Convention kicks off with a special edition of America Decides, live from Chicago at 5 Eastern.